Hello, this is Akhil from Academy Please. So today, 3rd November 2022, we will be discussing a total of 4 topics and all topics are taken from the Hindu newspaper. So the interested aspirants can download the PDF from this Telegram link. So shall we move on to the topics? So the first topic is the most dangerous moment since 1962. So now we are facing Russian-Ukraine war in today's scenario, right? So, like this, we had a same scenario in 1962. In October 1962, when the United States discovered that the Soviet Union had moved nuclear missiles to the Cuba, US President John F. Kennedy called it a deliberately provocative and unjustified change in the status quo, which cannot be accepted by this country, right? So, similarly, now for example, you can see then and near to the Russian borders, there is many NATO countries. So NATO countries means they support United States of America. Similarly, 1962, near to the Russia, the USSR deployed nuclear missiles near to the United States of America. Similar type of incident happened in 1962. So, but at that time, the President of United States had taken two types of actions. At first, he quarantined Cuba by deploying ships so that USSR cannot approach Cuba directly. At the same time, he held back talks. He deployed his brother, known as Robert Kennedy, to talk with USSR and solve the problem, right? So today also we are facing the same type of situation, right? Near to the Russia border, we have many NATO countries. So when Putin is saying the same argument, US is not willing to hear that. But in 1962, due to the wisdom of two leaders, USSR leader and US leader, the problem was amicably solved. But now both the leaders are not willing to hear, and the result is the people of Ukraine are suffering eventually, right? Not only the people of Ukraine, the whole world is suffering eventually. So you can see the explanation given is, even though the problem has risen due to the backtalks and the diplomatic solutions, the problem was solved. But here, the problem is spiraling. The current phase of Ukraine war is a textbook example of what international relations theorists call a spiral model, where parties treat each other with matching hostility, sharply escalating into an existing conflict. One way to look at the conflicts is to take moral normative. The mainstream narrative of US which about Putin matches this view. He is aggressor, which has violated international laws and invading Ukraine and annexing its territories. But the same United States, who is saying that the USSR is an aggressor, has done this in past many times. For example, when Israel annexed many parts of Jerusalem, the same United States has supported. So United States have not any stand in talking about the moral stand of both Russia. Right? A more realistic explanation is that Washington wants to use this opportunity in the Ukraine to weaken the Russia by continuing to arm Ukraine. So here, unless the leaders break the spiral, the conflict will keep deteriorating as war evident in Russia's recent attacks on Ukraine's infrastructure and Ukraine's drone attack in Sevastopol, Crimea. Right? So here the conclusion is Kennedy, who is the president of United States in 1962, and Khrushchev, who was the president of USSR in 1962, had shown strategic empathy to understand the predicament both leaders were in, and they could make difficult choices. But Mr. Putin and Mr. Biden are in own silos, blaming each other and blindly pursuing their goals through force, while Ukraine is on fire. The sooner they come out of it, the better for the world. So next topic is a chance to expand the world's biosphere threat. So today, 3rd November 2022 is celebrated as International Day for Biosphere Reserves. Note this point in your notebook. November 3 is celebrated as International Day for Biosphere Reserves. And this topic is important in the view of India and South Asia. So totally there are 738 properties in 134 countries, including 12 in India, 4 in Sri Lanka and 3 in Maldives. So in South India alone, totally we have 738 properties, but in India alone we have 12 properties, 4 in Sri Lanka and 3 in Maldives. When you count this, we can have 16, 19 properties in South Asia alone. Bangladesh and Bhutan and Nepal do not have any biospace as yet. The South and Central Asian MAN MAB stands for Man and Biosphere Reserves is planned for 2023. Countries like small countries in South Asia like Bangladesh, Bhutan, and Nepal do not have biosphere reserves. But by the year of 2023, they are planning to host some biosphere reserves in their own country, an ideal platform of network. So this WBNR is a fantastic platform. Countries share each other their knowledge, experience, technology to preserve the nature. This is one of an ideal network to platform. Um, in United Nations, one of the best and most liked platform is this WNBR, right? Because it is used explicitly for conserving the nature, and it is the most successful of all the platforms in United Nations. Our planet has been set up uniquely in solar system. So this paragraph is more important for your mains writing because this paragraph is unique. It explains our solar system and the earth and the biosphere resource. It is unique only in our world. Till our knowledge, we don't know where this type of biosphere resource is in this world, but it is found only on earth. Our planet has been uniquely in the solar system so that ecosystems can function and provide home for all living creatures. You can't see anywhere in the solar system or in this universe also. Till now we don't know, maybe there will be, but till now we don't know. From whatever vantage point you look at nature conservation and environmental, cultural, or even a religious point of view, it is our responsibility to respect nature. So we know in our Indian culture we preserve plants. For example, if you see a old plant, people will start worshipping that plant. If people start to worship plant, other people will feel it, they will feel badly to cut the trees, right? So it is our Indian culture. So in religious point of view also, it is our responsibility to respect nature. So the best concept for living in harmony with the nature that exists in United Nations system is WNBR, making these places more important today than ever before. So, when we come to South Asia, in South Asia, over 30 biosphere reserves have been established. So, we have seen 12 in India, 4 in Sri Lanka, and 3 in Maldives. Totally, here itself, we have around 19, right? So, total in South Asia, we have 30 biosphere reserves. The first one was Hurulu Biosphere Reserve in Sri Lanka. So, first biosphere reserve in South Asia was in Sri Lanka, Hurulu Biosphere Reserve, which has around 25,500 hectares of tropical dry evergreen forest. Actually, in South Asia, we have enormous opportunity for this biosphere reserve. Why? Because South Asia lies in equatorial region, and this equatorial region, we know that there's an good climate. We will have enough sun, and suddenly we will have enough rain. So we will have both of sun and rain. So we will have enough amount of tropical forest in this South Asia. So South Asia is an ideal place for biosphere reserves. So In India, the first biosphere reserve was designated by UNESCO in 2000, namely the Blue Mountains of Nilgiris, stretching from Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and Kerala. So, do you know why this name Blue Mountains of Nilgiris? So, in Nilgiris, there is a flower known as Kurunji. That flower blooms, I think, once in a year, I think so. And when it blooms, the when you see the Nilgiri mountains, it will look like a blue mountain because it will be all over the Nilgiri mountains. So the name is given as Blue Mountains of Nilgiris, considering the massive long threats to human survivability. Besides pandemics and armed conflicts such as biodiversity loss, climate change, pollution. Actually, this is the most threat to human survivability than the pandemics and armed conflicts, right? Because this is losing day by day. This happens once in a year or once in a century, right? Pollution and population dynamics accelerated by the blind belief in technological solutions for all problems. So we humans always believe that we will have a technology and we will how by many means we will be solving the problem, but that is a blind solution. Technology is lagging actually. Technology can't solve any all problems. Can we solve the pollution problem by today night itself? No. It will take around 10 to 20 years. Even India has pledged in the United Nations for a carbon-free country by 2070 only. So actually technology is lagging. Spain, with a landmass of over 5 lakh 6,000 kilometers and a population of 47, is one of the leading participating WNBR countries globally with a 53 properties. In comparison with a surface area of 3.3 million kilometers square, here only 5 lakh, here 3.3 means 30 lakh, right? And India's population is about 1.4 billion. It appears a good idea to carry out potentially analysis of biospace in India with a focus on seven sisters in Northeast India. We know in Northeast India we have abundant of biospheres. So it is one of a pressing opportunity to save those seven mountains or the biospheres located in the northeast of India. Also, we have many countries like Bhutan, India, and Nepal who have many mountains also. Even the United Nations is planning for mountain management, right? So this WBNR uses science-based management plans where local solutions for sustainable human living and natural conservation. So this WBNR uses science-based solution for preserving the biosphere resource plus local solutions. So they uses both the solutions. That is the success of WBNR. All biosphere reserves are internationally recognized sites on land, on the coast, or in oceans. Government alone can decide which areas to be nominated. Before approved by UNESCO, the sites are externally examined. If approved, they will be managed based on plan reinforced by credibility checks while remaining under the sovereignty of national governments. In most, if not all cases, the so in South Asia, many countries are willing to have biosphere reserves, but even though they have political wills, they don't have money, they don't have finance for setting up these biosphere reserves. So they are expecting financial support from richer nations and private sector would be desirable to advance biosphere reserves in this country. The existence of new world of mountain biosphere reserves provides a welcome opportunity for Bhutan and Nepal, which has a long range of Himalayas. It actually these countries are thriving on tourism coming from the Himalayan reserves, right? To establish first biosphere reserves and participate in the world network. So this is all about this topic and useful topic for environment, right? The thing to remember is today, 3rd November is International Day of Biosphere Reserves, and India has 12 biosphere reserves. This thing also we have to understand. So we are going on to the third topic, seeds of hope. So recently in this week we have seen that GEAC means Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee has approved the use of DMH11, which is a mustard variety, hybrid mustard variety for commercial cultivation. Right? So, for genetic appraisal, GEAC, the apex regulator norm for last week cleared the variety of environmental release. This seed can be grown in the for the testing of commercial cultivation, right? For the testing of commercial cultivation, DMH employs genes from soil bacterium that makes mustard a self-pollinated plant amenable to being crossed with other varieties and producing hybrid varieties. So here, for producing DMH, which is a hybrid variety, it can't be done directly through gene transplantation. It employs soil bacterias for doing this duty. It employs bacteria for doing this duty. Hybrid varieties are mostly vigorous and in the case of mustard and oilseed which will produce more oil. So here, why you have to link this news DMH11 with the international scenario. Why GEC is in hurry to approve DMH11? When we understand, right now we are facing Russia-Ukraine war, and the prices of oils have been steeply increasing. So when we have to buy this oil from foreign nations, and our international reserves are depleting due to this. So our government is going to encourage the growth of mustard plants in our country itself. So when we develop this DMH11 type of variety, our country will itself grow mustard varieties and we will be producing mustard oil. So here we have joined subjects like environment plus international relations plus economy, right? This is how you have to write the main answer. So, despite decades long of trials, mustard hybrids have not been made to Indian farmers because of activists opposed to genetic modification in principle, and some farmer groups believe that them to be dangerous. So, even though GEAC have cleared BT brinjal a transgenic food crop, only to be overruled. So, here in our country, um, regarding hybrid varieties, three types of plants have been approved. Three types of not plant have been approved. Three types of plants have been in the news. First one is BT cotton, then BT brinjal, and then BT mustard. This is one of the static topic of UPSC in science. You have to study this topic compulsorily. So BT cotton has been approved by the government since because it is not uh, a crop which is used for eating. It has been approved. BT brinjal has been approved by GEAC, but due to stiff resistance, it has been backed out. And BT mustard now government is have given clearance for the test and trials, right? So these three things are in hybrid varieties that is in focus in India. So the technology used in DMH11 of BT mustard is, you can see here, Barney's Basta system used in DMH is promising but already outdated because Barney's Basta. I will explain this Barney's Basta system, right? So this is an outdated system. You will be using a virus. I will explain this. But the recent technology is CRISPR. So what is meant by CRISPR? In CRISPR, you will have a gene. Here we will be cutting a certain amount of portion in our DNA and we will be implementing a desired DNA in the plant itself. It is known as CRISPR technology, and both these technology, Barnes and Pasteur, are transgenic. So what is meant by transgenic? Transgenic means Taking a gene from species A and implementing it in the species B, it is known as transgenic system, right? So there are two types of species involved here. So it is called as transgenic system. So there is also one more article regarding the same, and here they have given the detailed explanation about this type of system. So, what is DMH11? DMH is a hybrid variant of mustard developed by researchers of Center for General Manipulation, Genetic Manipulation of Crop Plants at the University of Delhi. So, the first variety of hybrid mustard plant is developed by the professor known as Deepak Mentor, who has led the efforts to develop hybrid mustard at the center for decades and was former vice chancellor of university. Began with DMH1, a hybrid variant that was developed without transgenic technology. So this was used without transgenic technology, and DMH11 is a transgenic technology. Understand the difference, right? So they will be asking DMH1 and DMH11 is a transgenic technology hybrid variant. When they say the statement is wrong, you have to be aware of that. Here, while India has several mustard varieties, it is a self-pollinating plant and therefore a challenge for plant breeder to cross different mustard varieties and induce desirable traits. DMH11 is a result of cross between two varieties, Varuna and Early Hira. So there is two varieties. One is Varuna and another one is Early Hira. Correct? This Varuna is Indian breed and this early hera is European breed, right? You have to understand. So it involves two types of plants, two types of breeds, Varuna and early hera. Such a cross wouldn't happen naturally and was done through introducing genes from soil bacterium known as Barnis and Basta. So I have said I will be explaining what is meant by Barnis and Basta system, right? Barnis in Varuna induces a temporary sterility because which it can't naturally self-pollinate. So here, this round one without this circle is fully circled. This is female one and this is male one. Similarly, this is male one and this is female one, right? So this is Varna breed and this is yearly Hira breed. So what they will do is here they will be using Barnies. They will be inducing Barnies in male system. They will be inducing Barnies in male system. And what happens is this will become sterile. This can't self-pollinate. Actually, what pollination is, this male and this female will when they touch each other, the pollen grains from this male will pass on to the female, and new varieties will germinate. This is the process of germination. But what they do is when they pass Barnes to the male, it will become sterile. So the germination, self-induced germination can't take place. It will become sterile, right? Then this early Hira male and Varuna's female is combined and they will be developing a new plant, right? After that, here a new plant is developed, but we can't let this male plant sterile for a long time, right? So what we will be doing is we will be inducing Bastar, a new type of virus here in this male, Bastar in this male. So once this germination happens, this Buster variety will induce this whole breed and make the undo of Barnes what Barnes have done. Barnes have made this sterility. So when we induce Bastard in this plant after cross pollination, this Bastard will undo what the Barnes have done effect to this male sterility. Basta inhera blocks the effect of barniz, allowing seeds to be produced. So after the cross pollination, Next, the self-pollination has to be allowed because it is the environment's rule. So, in order to do this, we will be inducing master in this male pollination. After the pollination, cross-pollination, this master will have effect on female and it will induce the whole Varuna breed, and then the cross effect of Barnes will be undone by the Buster, right? Did you understand it? So, the results of DMH11 refers to number of generations after disablement that not only has better yield but is also fertile. DMH11 is a transgenic crop because it uses foreign genes from the different species. So here ICAR has researched and suggested that DMH11 has 11%, 28% higher yields than parent Varuna and 37 than zonal chicks or local varieties that are considered best in the different agroclimatic zones. Having better hybrids is necessary to India's rising edible oil import bill. So, states like Haryana, Punjab, and Madhya Pradesh they have tested here. India imports anywhere from 55 to 60% of its domestic edible oil requirement. In 2020 to 2021 alone, 13.3 tons of edible oil were imported at a cost of 1,17,000 crore according to the National Academy of Agriculture Science. On the other hand, a hybrid mustard and rapeseed are dominant form of oilseeds in Canada, China and Europe. Other countries have been using these hybrid type of seeds, but in India due to protests, our government is not able to implement these types of hybrid seeds. So why they are opposing it? You have to note this also while writing the main sensor. The use of genes that are foreign to the species is one, and secondly, the preparation of mustard hybrids require the use of another gene known as margin, which makes it tolerant to the herbicide known as glufosinate ammonium. This will make our local plants extinct. Due to this barging, then our local plants will go extinct. These are the factors in which our farmers fear for the use of this hybrid mustard. Plants may also they fear that these hybrid varieties will be tolerant for intolerant for bees, and bees will not be pollinating in these mustard seeds, and this will have a catastrophic effects on environment and also for humans. So this is in the first time GEAC has cleared the environmental release of GM mustard in 2072. Apex body has cleared it, but the process got stalled after it was launched by the Supreme Court. BT brinjal, the first transgenic food crop, was to cleared in GEAC in 2009, but was on hold by then UPA government on the grounds of more tests needed. So GEAC go ahead only allows DMH allowed to grow in fields under the supervision of ICAR. And next topic is center doubles fertilizer subsidy as a price sees a surge. So the center has doubled the fertilizer subsidy for the Rabi season. A meeting in the Union Cabinet here on Wednesday approved 15,875 crore for nitrogen, phosphorus, and potash, and sulfur for phosphatic and potassium fertilizer for the ongoing Rabi season. This is what you have to understand. So the fertilizers means you have to understand NPK and its constituents. You have to. It is your homework. How much constituents in how much ratio we have to add this in the soil, right? Others are what it is called as a moving news, because one day government will increase the subsidy, another day government will be reducing the subsidy. But here we know that due to Russia Ukraine war, the import of fertilizers have increased and farmers are suffering due to it. So center doubles fertilizer subsidy as a price search. Others we can see as a homer and how much ratio we are adding NPK to the soil, right? So this is all for today. Thank you.